What's going on, Game Illuminaughty? It's UTX, JT, the Don, and Ace of All Trades back again to talk about Atlanta. We missed episode 8, so we're going to go back and talk about that one, and then we're going to get into episode 9, which is the latest episode before the one that I believe is coming out this week, which will be episode 10. So let's get into episode 8. This one focused more on Al. So this is kind of another episode for him, but this is more in the I would say the barbershop episode was again more of the more in the sense as well, but again I feel like the episode didn't really focus as much on his actual career and what's going on with him as this one did. This one was definitely a lot more personal, and I feel like it was way more relatable in the sense of like keeping it real. When, like I was saying when this episode came out, I said this is a perfect example of when keeping it real goes wrong, because that's all Al wants to do. He doesn't want to be fake. He knows that there are a lot of fake people in the industry, and he just doesn't want to rock like that. But he ends up getting a couple of different scenarios that kind of gave him a wake up call. So let's talk a little bit about episode 8. So this one began with him at the crib. Darius is cooking some pasta or whatever, talking about putting his foot in it. He literally put his foot in it, and I was like, ew, that's freaking disgusting. Like, how the people
mad
still
extra
don't do
for no reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
You could have done it without all that. All right.
Yeah, he's super extra with that one, but in any case, they're talking, and he's like very, very excited about the pasta or whatever. But they didn't really have anything going on until a girl pulls up. And always take Al out. He's like, oh yeah, I got a ride. And he's like, well, I thought you wanted a girlfriend. Like nigga, that ain't my girlfriend. You know how that be. So they end up going on their way. And this girl, she was a former stripper, and now she's an Instagram model. And it's like, you know, she got her a little bit famous. She a little bit popping. And like their conversation was a little bit weird in the whip. Like he didn't really seem to be like interested in her. So I was kind of like, well, like how did you meet her? But she like made a comment about like when she was stripping, she like, maybe maybe you was in there like before, maybe I shake my ass on you, maybe you gave me some money. So I'm assuming like that's how they met or something like that. But in any case, like right. Al just didn't really seem to enter her. So we move on. She's going on errands or whatever. So the first place that they go is a shoe place, and he's not really into like the new style of clothing or whatever, but she was like, you gotta change up your style or whatever. Like you need to get on Instagram, or you need to do this and do that. And she picked out some shoes for him, and you're like, how much is this? And she made a comment about her manager, which would be, well, his manager would be Ern. Like he don't get you free shit, and he was like, nah, like he don't know how to do that stuff. Because Ern like had never really like done anything like that. I guess that like other managers do, and she kind of seen that as to be a normal thing, and Al isn't used to that because again Ern doesn't really know how to do any of that stuff for real. So yeah, like he wasn't really trying to pay for that stuff, because that stuff is kind of expensive. But she was just like, well, you can get this stuff for free if you actually get some connections or whatever. Right. So again, it's another one of those situations where he just felt kind of weird because it's something that he's not used to, but that's what other people do. That's what she was trying to get him to do. It was also like a little scene when like they weren't giving them service, and she made a scene. She was being one of those typical black chicks. I was like, oh boy, here we go with this. But
but have all the Nubian princesses and queens at you. We at the Game Illuminati love y'all queens. They are listening to this and everything like that. Don't let the reflection of UTX, JG, the Don reflect Ace of All Trades and the rest of the Game Illuminati. Thank you.
But look, man, it was one of those situations. But at the same time, that is how they be treating us. That is how they be treating us in these That's boutiques facts. Or whatever. If
when they be talking in different languages, they be talking shit.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. Because that's definitely what be happening at the nail shop. Well, that's what chicks be saying that they be doing in the nail shop. But yeah, the white people in the shoe shop, they were not paying any attention because they were probably like, oh, they black asses ain't gonna buy anything.
They ain't gonna buy nothing.
Yeah, they ain't gonna buy nothing. But she's like, no, can we get some service in here? So it was one of those situations. So again, Al was just feeling super weird. Then they go to the nail place, and Al was getting a pedicure. And again, it's kind of one of the stereotypes and stigmas about black dudes, that they don't do things like that. You don't get manicures and pedicures because that's gay. That's sus if you're a black man. But she was appreciative that he was like, comfortable about that part. But she was talking about her hustle, whatever, talking about she got to compete with white chicks on Instagram, being a model, and stuff. But she was just trying to get her hustle on. She definitely was a hustler type of chick. And she was trying to take a picture of Al because what she wanted to do was like put them on and act like they're a couple or whatever. So she wanted to take a few pics and like just try to show the world that, you know, they're together. And Al was like, nah, like I ain't trying to do that. Like what the fuck you doing? Delete that. And so they got into an argument. And then also what you mentioned about her getting upset because the chick was like, she was like hurting her a little bit on her feet. And then they were talking in another language. So she was like, nah, like you need to talk English in here. so again, another one of those situations happened. And I've heard of that plenty of times as well. But in any case, what they're arguing, Al just wasn't feeling the whole situation. Like he's like, I'm not trying to do any of this stuff. And he ended up dipping out. Like, and keep in mind, she was the one who picked him up. So she drove them all these places. But Al was like, I can walk, bitch. And then he walked out of the nail shop, and he just started walking, like literally just walking aimlessly. This man stopped at Crystal's and got him something to eat, but he was like eating the burgers outside. And I guess this was a reflection of like him just being humanized, because he again like just struggling so much with this, you know, newfound fame. At the end of the day, he just wants to be himself. He wants to be able to do anything that he wants without people judging him or saying anything else. So how do you feel about like the whole tone of this episode going into like the next part that I want to talk about?
Yeah, just like he just seemed like he was just annoyed with everything, and just he didn't want to be around it. You know, it's just been an ongoing thing the entire time with, you know, his song like blowing up and everything, and then he just wanted to keep it real, and it just got to the height of it and just the pinnacle of everything, and then, you know, he didn't want to be around it. It's really what it was.
Right. So as we continue on with the scenes or whatever, there's one scene where again he's just walking aimlessly. He doesn't call. Oh yeah, he did get a text from, I'm assuming that's the same chick.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too.
Yeah, because they didn't really explain it, because he didn't have her name in the phone or whatever. But I'm thinking that's the same chick. She was like, I've been thinking about you. And he was like, he just looked at it and he just ignored it. So I'm assuming that that's her. But again, I'm not 100% sure. But the next scene goes, he's still walking. He runs into 3 kids. And they're like, oh shit, you paper boy. He was like, yeah. Like, just again, I would just know he's so nonchalant about everything. He was like, yeah. And they're like, what you doing walking? He was like, I can't walk. And again, it just again brought it to perspective. Once again, about him just wanting to be able to do anything he wants. Like, people find that weird if you're a celebrity and you're just walking aimlessly. But at the same time, here's the reality check. Because this nigga got on a little bit of ice, and they was like, you know, I'm a big fan. Like, oh man, like my little brother or whatever. He's like, you know, when I tell him about this, like, he gonna lose his shit. But it was just an awkward silence, and they was like, well, shit, and they pulled a gun out on Al, and they attempted to rob this dude. So this was like one of the like direct situations. I mean, yeah, they did get him. Yeah, they did get him.
They beat him and they robbed him.
Yeah, so they beat him. They were about to shoot and kill him. Like, it was literally that real. Like, he was very close to death. They did take his shit, and they were about to kill him, but he ended up wrestling it away for a split second. Ended up punching one of the kids. 2 dudes ran away, and then one dude he got wrestled for a little bit, but it was just enough for Al to actually run into the forest. And dude ended up like recovering, still with the gun in his hand, because he didn't wrestle it away from him, and he continued to chase Al through the woods. So Al had to hide in the woods to get away. But dude was like legit ready to kill him. So again, this is a direct situation on all of the like symbolism or whatever other ways that all of the characters in the series have been getting robbed. But this one is a direct situation, besides the very first episode where you see like robbing actually happen, like some direct robbing shit. So again, that was kind of crazy. But what really got even crazier was Al was lost in the woods. He was again just walking aimlessly, not knowing where was where, and he ends up seeing this guy in the woods. We're just gonna assume he's a homeless man, but he was like, yo, like you know, somebody. He was like, I'm not trying to talk to you, like whatever. And he was like, man, you just like your mama. And I was like, does he know him? So
I felt like that was his dad, and like he's having like a vision or something like that, or maybe he was just exhausted or something, or just tired of everything, and that thing, maybe that was supposed to be like a metaphor or something like that, or it wasn't actually a man in the woods, but maybe that man in the woods was supposed to be symbolization of his father, and that's what I thought.
yeah, like I was looking at some other reviews and they said that like it may have been a ghost or something. So again, they didn't say 100% whether it was or wasn't, but I found that very, very creepy because I'm like, nah, no random dude in the woods would know Al, right? Like that's too crazy to be true. So yeah,
Right.
I'm not exactly sure on that part, but he was like, yeah, well, you stubborn just like your mama, and Al just kept walking away. He didn't really think anything of it. But day turned into night. This man Al was still in the woods, and he met up with the guy again. And he said something about like you need to keep going because if you don't, then you're dead. And if you're dead, then I'm gonna take everything up off you. I'm gonna take your shoes. I'm gonna take your shirt. I'm gonna take everything. And he also made a comment. He was like, "Are you blind?" Like he didn't know whether he was blind or not.
Right.
But he put a knife up to his throat, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
gonna kill you if you don't run. Like I'm gonna give you 10 seconds or whatever." He was like, "You better go." So I ended up dipping, but he still wasn't sure. Like he ended up dropping the knife a little bit, but he was just like just sitting there. So it was kind of like reminiscent of a blind man, like not actually knowing that he like where he is, but Al ended up dipping, and he ended up making it to a gas station at the end of the episode, and he met up with a white fan who ended up taking an Instagram picture where he actually encouraged it this time. For all
Right.
that
He
time that he
definitely
was,
did.
yeah, for all that time we was talking about, I don't want to take Instagram pics. I don't want to be fake. That was the main thing. I don't want to be fake with these Instagram pictures. But he ended up encouraging taking a picture with this dude. Like the white dude didn't question him or anything. He didn't ask why he was dirty. He didn't ask why he was beat up. He didn't ask for nothing. He was just excited to take the picture. And he even had him take it again. He's like, yeah, like, look a little different on this one. So I was like, damn, man, that's kind of wild that at the end of the episode he finally like kind of gives in or lets go, because I mean there's nothing fake about you being beat up and you being dirty and stuff after the day that you just had. So I don't know exactly what that was a reflection of. What do you think about that particular part after he gave in and took the Instagram picture with the fan?
I mean, I think it was like I said. I think earlier that I think that was his father, or some type of way, or like a ghost or something like that. It just made him realize like he needs to keep moving, keep pushing. He can still be real and everything like that, but can also kind of, I guess, be like not so like, I guess, like be more approachable when it comes to the people that actually like him and want to be around him and everything like that. Not saying that he has to do everything with him, but just him being more open to everything like that. Him getting out of his own like mindset of that. Oh, I gotta be real. I can't be as familiar with people like that. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I'm not famous. Hey, maybe you have a little bit more insight. I'm just playing, but
bro, if you don't stop, shut up.
but no, we're not there yet. I would like to get at that point. But I would have to obviously deal with this light fame and how people approach you or whatever. You can't be just totally cold. I'm not trying to keep it real 24/7. I'm just you just gotta be you. I don't feel like you should be so stuck up in those situations, because there are some genuine people out there that do like you, and I feel like that white kid who he took the picture with was one of those people. Yeah, he was real genuine. Like he didn't have any hostility. Of course the dudes did at first who almost killed you, because they were looking for a come up. Like apparently it's crazy in Atlanta around those times, but the white fan didn't care. Like he was just happy. He was just happy that somebody who we knew was there, and they listened to the music. Like it's cool. Like let me get a picture with you. So I'm like that was cool. So maybe he'll meet
But
more
he ain't
people
gonna
like
say
that.
nothing though. Like, okay, we're not gonna just sit there like this man wasn't all beat up, battered, and bloodied. Like, if you care, like, yo, Paperboy, you good? What happened,
Right,
man?
right.
That's the one. That's the only thing. That's
And
the only thing that got me with that.
I was like, man, is it like a real difference between like white fans and black fans, maybe just in the rap game? Because I would see a black fan of his that's not trying to rob him. Obviously, he would probably ask that question, because I know I definitely would have. I'm like, yeah, like you good? Because nah,
Right.
he was messed up. absolutely messed up when he got to that gas station, but like he just did not see it. I found that kind of weird, but at the same time I was like, damn, like if you just don't care about any of that, then I guess that's cool. Because I don't know, I'm kind of conflicted on how I really feel about how the white fan, you know, approached the whole situation. But it is what it is. Like, I guess, you know, in that situation, since he didn't even ask one question about how he is, he like, man, like maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe this is a genuine fan that's, you know, just doesn't care about any of this stuff. He just happy to see me. So
right.
So this is what it is, man. This episode really didn't have like any funny moments in it at all. This episode I feel like was like super duper serious. I guess like for how it's been so far, it's kind of been super serious, then, you know, a little bit lighthearted, then super serious again, then back to lighthearted. They're like trying to give you like a bit of both perspective, but this episode I feel like, you know, had more of a direct impact on like the overall story, because even though TBA disagrees about like the barbershop episode not having anything to do with anything, because he said that there's no plot really to Atlanta, I still feel like it is. Like the point is to get rich and for Paperboy to actually like super blow up, and, you know, everybody gets the money. So even though it doesn't really seem like a well thought out deep plot, that's the plot of Atlanta. So do you agree with that, Ace, or am I tripping?
No, you're not. I agree.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that was episode 8. Let's get into episode 9.
Build up tension.
Yeah. So everything is building up. The characters are back together. Ern, Darius, and even Tracy in this one, because he's a comedic relief, absolutely. For the episode that he had been in, because he's just crazy. He has an interesting perspective of life for someone who just got out of jail, and I feel like everybody knows somebody like this who just he's having a hard time adjusting, and he just wants to, you know, do whatever to get him a little money. So in this particular episode, Al is set to perform at a college. The catch is it's for free. Ern set this all up. And Al already isn't feeling it, because I mean, who wants to do something for free? You trying to get this money. So yeah, but Ern is saying that, you know, if you do this, you know, you'll be able to set yourself up in the future. You can come back to the colleges and you can actually get you some money. So Al reluctantly agrees. And again, Ern always doing something shady. He did not set up hotel accommodations. He trying to pocket whatever money that they were going to offer him, because he saw this chick on Instagram who apparently loves Paperboy so much that she offered for them to stay with her for the weekend. So again, Al was like, nah, man, like I'm really not feeling this stuff. Like, you always on some other stuff with this one. But it was just supposed to be 3 of them, just supposed to be Ern, Al, and Darius. But here come Tracy. You know, I want to go, man. Like, I could be security or something. And Ern is like, not feeling this at all. He like, why do you like, nah, bro? Like, you not coming. But Al was like, nah, he can be security. Like, he gonna come. So all 4 of them ended up going to the college. As soon as they got to the chick's crib, her name is Violet, in this episode, you know, they were just kind of weird coming in, but she was like, oh, you know, you got a +1, and he was like, oh yeah, like this, you know, this, he's like, this is my security. He's like, he's not really security. Like, he was just trying to downplay anything. He's like, this nigga is not security at all. He's like, he just his cousin. But anyways, they go in there. The chick who actually answered the door is one of her roommates, and she just, you know, she was like, oh hell no, like, all these niggas in my house, I'm not feeling this shit. But when Violet actually came in, then, you know, she actually greeted them and told them where they all gonna stay. She told Al, because again, the whole reason why she even allowed this in the first place, because she apparently loves Paperboy. She offered Al to sleep in her room, so you already know what that means.
It's about to go down.
Yep. She ain't playing them games. She already has some thoughts in her mind. But when I first saw her, I was like, yo, like, these are little kids, man. Like, did you think that they were even like over 18? Cause I'm like, man, Violet look like a fresh ass 18. She is a freshman.
Fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
Ready to be just getting to college, just not even the summer or something like that.
Yeah, she looks super young. Not even on some I'm about to graduate college. She definitely looked like I just got to college. So, anyways, Al was like, he's like, all right, like, we go in the room. Tracy like, you need some help? He like, nah, bro. You been one of them dudes, cause he was trying to get up a little something too. It actually trying to be security. Like, oh, you gonna be all right? He's like, I'll be all right. So they went in the room, and she started telling this crazy story about a dream that they had. Again, he was reluctant. He was like, I can just sleep over here. And she's like, no, like, you're gonna be sleeping in the bed. Well, she told him this crazy dream about her being a crocodile and him being like a crane or whatever.
Yeah, she talking about she was gonna eat him or some shit.
Yes.
Like, whoa, what the hell, bro? Yeah. That's a red flag. Get out, flag on the play.
It went to 100 real quick on that, and she was like, the blood was all over the place, and hell nah, bro.
No.
Nah, he was tripping out on that, but what really sealed the deal, what was even worse than the dream, was a footprint on the ceiling. What the hell?
No, it's crazy. What
the hell was that? How did that get up there? I do not know. But yes, all of the red flags were there. So Al already was like, hell to the no. But anyways, here comes the actual pajama jam. So it reminded me of House Party. Everybody was in pajamas, and that was the whole theme of the concert or whatever. So Al just had his performance. And then you got Clark County, who was also booked to it. He had his performance as well. So, they saw each other. And a funny conversation between Darius and Ern. He was like, yo, Clark County is an industry plant. And I was like, oh my God, did they really had this conversation? But I think that's real though, because they said that Clark County is like manufactured. He was just somebody who was just placed in the game to just mess everything up. And I could definitely name a couple of industry plants that I feel like we have in the game today, because some of y'all dudes are weird. I don't know where y'all came from, but I think that they definitely are plants for something. But in any case, they had a little conversation. It was two people who ended up meeting Paperboy, and they were talking about, like, thank you so much for coming out here. Like, said one of my friends actually did a article about you, a piece on you, for one of her classes. And while they were in the conversation, it was harmless. You could tell that, she liked Paperboy, the one who did the article on him. But, they were just having a little harmless conversation, barely talking for a minute. Violet, the crazy chick, threw her drink on Paperboy from on top of the balcony, and he's like, oh hell no, like, this bitch is crazy. She tried to walk away or whatever, act like she ain't do it. Here comes Tracy to the rescue. He actually tried to be security, right? Because he was like at first he was like, I'm gonna go scope out some things, just being one of them dudes, just seeing what's going on. But he sprung into action and ended up confronting Violet. They had this whole conversation. She put her hands on him. And then Tracy ended up muffing the mess out of her, and she ended up falling back on the stairs. And Ern is like, oh man, like, here we go. He ended up catching Violet, but she's already done at that point. Like, you put her hands on a woman, that's pretty much it. She was already pissed, but that just set her off the edge on that one. So she called her brother or whatever, and all his dudes came as backup. So they started coming at Tracy, Al, Ern, and Darius. So they had to deal about the spot. They ran all through the hallways or whatever, and they eventually ended up getting away. But that was a crazy situation that they were just trying to get out there. But Al was ready to fight though. Al was actually ready to get it on, and Tracy came out the day with the Superman sucker punch before they ended up getting away. So that was just a crazy situation. But this kind of just again plays on the theme of this episode that Ern is fucking up, like, cause he's not being an actual manager. He's trying to be shady and skip by things, like the hotel, for example. Like, he could have easily just got them a hotel, but instead they ended up in the situation with Violet, and he was like, I knew this bitch was crazy, obviously because of the whole thing that they were talking about before they even went to the concert or whatever. So again, just a whole bunch of red flags. So that was already like 2 knocks on Ern. The whole time is, He's thinking like, man, like I'm not the reason why this happened. Tracy is the one who escalated everything. He shouldn't have did that and but really nobody's trying to put the blame on Tracy. Whole time Al is thinking that this is your fault, Ern. But anyways, they end up getting away. They're walking down the street, and Al was like, yo, like I need some weed so I can calm my mind. That's all he was worried about the whole time. He brought some with him, but he needed some because it was back at Violet's crib. So they end up walking down the street. They end up coming to this white frat, and Darius ended up being the one who ended up smelling it at first. So they all followed him. They come across to the white frat, and they're smoking. And they're like, oh shit, like you're Paperboy. And he's like, yeah, like y'all got some? And he was like, yeah, bro, we smoke you out. So they ended up doing that. But as soon as they were about to go in there, they seen this white dude running naked into the crib, and they like, man, like what are y'all doing in here?
Right, that's a red flag. Gotta go.
Another red flag, some crazy shit. But Al is so hell bent on smoking something that they just walk in there. So they're chilling in the frat house, and I guess one of the leaders or whatever, he is just sitting there. They're all sitting there, and then the shot pans back to all of the pledges naked. And I'm like, bruh, oh no, here's another knock on these sororities and these fraternities, man, because they already get a bad name. But now y'all playing into like some of the crazy stuff that they be having these pledges do, hazing and all this stuff. So that was going on this when they were all naked, and they all had potato bags on their head. And they were just sitting there just chilling, and he was like, man, like, you talking to Paperboy? He's like, man, I love you, man. You're one of my favorite rappers. You and Post Malone. And I was like, that's a weird combination.
Bro, I saw that too. What the fuck?
Him and Post Malone. I was like, you so white. Like, that's the whole thing. I'm like, you so white for that. But in any case, he was like, man, like, I'm gonna play this cassette. This dude ended up playing some D4L Laffy Taffy. And he told the pledges to dance. So this was one of the, again, comedic moments of the episode, while all these dudes dancing. But again, it's just so awkward because these dudes are naked, and everybody's just sitting there. Tracy is enjoying this. He's absolutely loving this shit. But everybody else is just like, man, like, I'm so high, I don't really care, but this is still awkward as shit. Like, what's really going on here? Right. Tracy is also very, very engaged and inquisitive or whatever about their guns, because they said that they got some old school muskets and stuff, and they showed him like this old school pistol, and he was just very into it. Like he's like, yeah, like I want one of those, like this tight as hell. But in any case, and that was that. And with one of the final conversations that they had in this particular scene, Al was like, man, like what we need to talk about what's going on. And Ern is just like, he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you know what? He's like, I don't want you to be my manager no more. He's like, we need to talk about what the real problem is. So, yeah, he just straight up said it. He was like, you don't know how to manage me properly. And it was kind of just everything leading up to it. So he blamed him. Al blamed Ern for pretty much everything. But Ern is trying to say that Tracy was the one who caused everything to happen while they're even there in the first place. But in any case, that was that scene. So in the morning, what they ended up doing was going back to the crib. Now keep in mind that Violet is the one who was already upset, and Big Brother chased him and all that stuff. So do you think she gonna let them in? Hell no. They came,
definitely not.
Yeah, they came right back, and they broke into Al's car, took all his stuff basically. So he was pissed as fuck at that, which rightfully so. They also took all their stuff and left it out on the grass. And they cut everything up. Not only Al's stuff, they cut Darius' stuff up, they cut Ern's stuff up, they cut everybody's stuff up. Like, they weren't even playing. So what really set Ern off, again, they were already just upset at everything, but what set Ern off is they took his laptop. And I'm sure that mug was super expensive, so he was pissed. And like, even though all this stuff happened, they were like laughing at Earn. They're like, yo, like that's the thing that set you off? Out of all this stuff, that's what set you off? So this dude was banging on the door, Violet, let me in, let me in, let me in. And he was kicking on the door or whatever. They were just laughing and laughing and laughing. This dude Earn pulled the fire alarm. And then all the college students had to get out of their rooms or whatever, their apartments. And it like there was no resolution. There was no resolution for that. Like they had to go since the dude pulled the fire alarm. They're not trying to have the cops come as well. So they took Al's weed too. Again, rightfully so. So they took everything. They were just without anything in that situation. So they ended up dipping, got back in the car and headed back home. Earn is in the back seat, pissed off. You just had your cousin say that he don't want you to be a manager anymore. He wants he gonna talk to Clark County's manager because he been saying that for a minute. Like, you know, if you need a real manager, hit me up. So he said that he gonna mess with Clark County's manager because you can obviously see that Clark County's manager is doing some moves and Earn hasn't really earned his right to be a manager. So so he's pissed. Tracy is throwing his little jabs at him. And Earn gets to a point, he like, yo, pull this car over. I'ma beat this nigga's ass. And Al and Darius are like, nah, bro, like, I'm not about to do that. Like, y'all not about to fight. And he was like, no, pull this car. I'm gonna beat this nigga's ass. I'm gonna beat his motherfucking ass. So, Al was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Earn got out the car. Tracy was like, I don't want to do this, man. He was like, I don't want to do this. And he ended up hitting Earn once. And then Earn, got knocked back. Still try to come at him, try to wrestle with him. Tracy was still trying to hold back. This dude Earn got one good punch on Tracy, and that was it, man. He hit him with like 3 or 4 of them and knocked them all the way down, and that was pretty much it, man. Like they all got back in the car. Al and Darius was just sitting there just looking at the situation, and that was it, man. He beat his ass, and they just hopped back in the car at the end, and that was that, man. Like Tracy beat his ass, and it like act like nothing else even really happened. So that was it, man. That was episode 9. What do you think about everything after everything that unfolded in this particular episode, Ace?
I mean, it was long overdue. I mean, the tension has been building since the first season, and then tension built even more once the introduction of Tracy came along. So this is bound to happen. Plus, this is the first time that the group has been back together since the past few episodes, kind of everybody having their quote unquote, like individual, like episodes itself. So, it's going to be some crazy antics and it all makes sense, but it came down to it. Now we're looking at, well, what is Earn going to do now? Because clearly, because he was supposed to lose his job as a manager the first season, and they finessed it, and he got big. Al got big somehow, but as enough is enough. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen next episode.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna see. But I like this episode a lot as well. And did just get to the point where Earn is not holding his keep, and Al got to figure out like what else he can do, because I think that he's finally at the point where like he's seen everybody just kind of blow past him, and he's like, yo, like, Earn, what can you do for me today? Like, you're putting me in all these awkward situations, and you're not doing good as a manager. It's already hard when your family members also do business with you. That just kind of, I feel like in a lot of situations that doesn't work out as what you expected. Obviously you want to put your family on, but I just feel like in these particular situations, especially when you're doing music, I don't feel like your family is necessarily the best bet for a lot of these situations. So again, it is what it is, man, but we will see what happens in episode 10. But I'm liking Atlanta. Again, it's one of my favorite shows so far, and I'm looking forward to what the overall conclusion is when Atlanta is done. Other than that, any other thoughts about episode 8 and 9, Ace?
Oh, we pretty much covered it all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So definitely, keep up with Atlanta. We will be bringing you some more episode reviews before we are done with the season. Again, if you want to participate in an episode like this, we'll try to reach out some more, because we haven't got anybody else on it. I don't know anybody else that's actually watching Atlanta as a Patreon member, but If you are a Patreon member and you would like to be on this episode, or if you are not and you would like to talk more about Atlanta with GI, consider pledging to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/GI updates. We have a lot of rewards in store. Again, just being on videos like this, being a part of the GI podcast, being a GI radio host, having access to the Patreon Discord where we play with y'all all the time, having access to a monthly raffle for a AAA game and an indie game every month. So again, we will holler at y'all later, and thanks for watching.